Welcome back. So last video we spoke about, in the last couple of videos actually, we spoke about how to create inner peace and spread it out into the world, inside out and outside in, right? You can do it either way. But in this video, we are going to focus on what not to do, right? If you want to create peace, there are things that you need to do and there are things that you need to avoid doing. And this is something that is important to emphasize because both sides are important, doing and not doing, So you need to understand that how certain actions, whether they are small or big, can actually start a chain reaction. So when you do the positive things, that can actually start a chain reaction as well. For instance, sometimes like when I used to coach, I've had clients where they would tell me that someone maybe 20 years back hurt their feelings, and it wasn't even a very big incident, right? Someone at school said something and they hurt their feelings, this and that person is carrying the resentment 20 years later, and it's interrupting their personality or their relationships and all of that. So we need to know what's the impact of the things that we're doing in our life, right? And I remember that from my childhood, there's certain things that my teachers or my mentors told me. One of my teachers said to me that, no matter where you go, you'll be successful in life, because she saw something in me and she passed this, really kind remark. And that has kept me going so many times in my life when I think back and I think that my mentor, my teacher, she said that to me, and she saw something in me that I didn't see at the time. And she had eyes of kindness and that understanding, which was greater than me at the time because I was just a young child. So, I mean, if you look at that, like what she said to me had such a positive impact that years and years later, I think back and I say, no, my mentor told me that, my teacher told me that. So, in a similar manner, imagine that, you telling a young child or someone in trouble that, the thing's going to be okay, that they can always remember something that you said, just one sentence or word could take them to, overcoming the challenges of being in a better state years and years later, or you can also, just like the other situation, you can negatively impact a person for 20 years, 40 years, something, if you say something like that. And the main thing is that, do you want to do that? Do you want to be a force for good? Or do you want to be a force of opposite force, right? A force that is spreading, I don't want to even say it, but the darkness, the hatred. But the fact is that there are things that we can do that will start chain reaction, and there are things that we should not do, to stop certain chain reactions if you want to create peace in the world. And people think maybe you have to be in a really big position, or you have to do this or do that to create peace. But peace really starts from and the positivity change really starts from the very small things, the things that you can do right now, today, where you are going to impact people, circumstances, and things 20 years later as well. For instance, people, littering in their country, they're throwing away things on streets or other places, and then that falls into water, and that may go into, some kind of wildlife, and it may infect them, and then the infection spreads. Like you cannot even imagine the kind of impact one negative action can have on the world, right? So you always have to think of one action, no matter how small it is, as a chain that in physics, there's a law that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So understand the fact that things are not just done and gone, they are done and then there's a reaction after that. So that's why you need to maintain positive chain reactions. Your every small action is in itself a chain reaction. So you have to maintain the positive chain reactions, one good action, one good word of compassion to someone, a good sentence of compassion and understanding to another person can actually transform them for the rest of their life. So question is, what are you going to do? My question to you is, think, reflect. What are you going to do to create peace in the world? Are you going to start that chain reaction of positivity or the other side? Because going the other side, you will not be at peace yourself as well. And then obviously, you don't want to be a part of something that is going to then be have to cleaned up, because things which are not balanced have to be brought into balance, right? So if someone chooses to live in a way which is not peaceful, then it will then have to be balanced out. And so that's why you need to always think peaceful thoughts, and you need to take peaceful actions, and you need to continue that chain of positivity, so that the world is your life force, or your life is a source of transformation for the world. It is not a source of challenge or difficulty, but a source of transformation, positive change for the world. And understanding this, then you can make a list. So this is your exercise in this video, that you're going to make a list of 10 things. 10, they don't have to be very big, but you can make a list of 10 small things that you can do today to create peace in your life and in the lives of those that are around you. And 10 things that you must not do that may create challenge in your life or in the lives of those that are around you. So when you create that list, then you would know what are the different things that you can do, and you can be kind to your own self as well. So kindness is not just limited to others, but it is also to your own self as well. So when you are loving and you are kind to your own self, like for instance, if you are eating good diet, drinking enough water, taking care of yourself, like as an individual, as a person, as yourself, you will be raising your health and your vibration, and you are setting a good example for others. And throughout all of this, you are actually creating a positive difference for yourself and for others. I have seen in my own life that when I start to make positive changes in my life, people around me start to do the same. The 10 things could also include small things you can do for your family, for your coworkers, small things that you can do today. For instance, you can maybe donate $30-$40 to a charity. You can maybe train someone a skill, right? You can do an act of love or kindness for someone and make their day. Those 10 things could be any things that you can do. It's better to have consistency to create peace. When you're going to do those 10 things, including maybe 2-3 things that are kind towards yourself, 2-3 things that are kind towards your family, 2-3 things that are kind towards the world in general, like maybe giving some charity or helping some of your coworkers. with the things, and you just make the commitment to be that person who's going to do those things. And just by upholding those actions and doing those things and having those values, the value of contribution, the value of love, that is going to in itself create peace within yourself, and peace in the world around you. So the world needs people who think like that, who consciously make a decision to undertake peaceful actions towards themselves, towards others. And then when you do that, then you create a new world. This is what the new world is. When you decide to do these small actions, you create a new world within yourself and outside, right? You can do the meditation, the balancing, the processing of your emotions, and making sure you're positive, right? But at the same time, you can translate those positive emotions into small, good actions, that you can undertake towards yourself and towards others. And in that way, you create a new world within yourself and external to yourself. And in a similar way, you can make a list of 10 things that, 5 or 10 things that you're not going to do, or make a commitment not to do. And those things could include, for instance, if you have a habit of maybe, in your relationships, maybe with your family, with your wife and children, or your parents, if you have a habit of sometimes people can get angry. Sometimes there are other things. You see that what is it that you're not going to do towards yourself? What is it that you're not going to do towards your family? And what is it that you're not going to do towards the world in general, right? I remember when I was really young, one of my older siblings stopped me. I was very, very young, and I just finished eating a candy, and it was like a small wrapper that was in my hand, and I was sitting in the window seat in the car, and I was just lifting my hand to sort of like get rid of the wrapper, when my older sibling stopped me and said that no, and I remember after that, I never ever even think about throwing anything on the street or in my country. I always take care, always make sure that when I'm outside, I throw whatever it is in the bin. And so I mean, these small things, things that you're not going to do, and then teach others as well, like if there are children around you, or you have your family around you, that's where your main influence is, and your coworkers, and maybe nicely, politely, you tell them that maybe, suggest that maybe you should do that, or maybe that is a better way of doing a thing, in a non offensive and non-confrontational way. You can help people, you can correct them, and that helps them, and it will help you as being a positive force for them and for yourself. So make sure that you do complete these 10, the list of 10 things, and you do sit down and reflect on it. And it does take a strategy. You make a commitment to do something in your mind, and you say that, yes, I'm going to do it. But then it takes the action, it takes the strategy, and then it also takes taking that whole thing to the end. There are times you may need to take a break, you may need to replenish, but you get back to it, and you complete what you started, and you take it to the end. And that's when the real change happens. So the real change happens when you do take your commitments and the strategy that you've implemented to the end and complete it, and then your job is done. And then after that, it is there are forces that are external to you, like I said, God, our creator, and the other positive forces working in the universe, that will then take your work, and or what you have done would then have a reaction to it, which is obviously if you're doing positive things, then it's gonna all come together as good for you in your life. Thank you so much.